The Justice Department charging Charlie Javice with defrauding JP Morgan out of $175 million. Javice is the founder of college financial planning platform Frank.
Charlie sold Frank to the JP Morgan bank, but she didn't thank, so JP felt something stink. Truth is, she wasn't Frank. It was a prank. Okay, here's a summary of what happened. Hey, I want to sell Frank to you, the JP Morgan bank. Are you Frank, or is this a prank? No, seriously. Do you have a lot of customers? What's a lot to you? I don't know, millions? Yes, millions. How many exactly? 4 million? So should we close the deal? But it was a prank. This is what actually happened. Charlie Javice created a website called Frank that helps students with their financial aid. It was sold to JP Morgan, having more than 4 million customers. Everyone was happy. Javice landed around 40 million from this deal, and it was a great sunny day. Obviously, big companies like JP Morgan don't really check what they bought immediately. They have to wait at least a year. We have to wait at least a year to see what we bought. So then it turns out that Frank has only 300,000 customers, and Charlie is now facing criminal charges of fraud. This is where it gets interesting. This is a conversation between her and another engineer on Slack.
I only see 142k rows. Is this only completed versus in progress?
Yes, 2 checking.
I need all started, even if it's just the first name.
So the number 142k is correct. It's all the applications at least started. Blah, 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 and blah.
So nothing in Gravity Forms or Scholarship? That's the only data capture?
The only filter I applied was removing test application with a withfrank.org email address.
Okay.
So I can count users who don't have an application.
Yep.
But since they don't have a application, they will not be useful for you.
They will be helpful for everything. I'm looking to have everything in one place. Other thing I did see was a college list. Can we add that or double check the variable?
It's in there as college choices column. So if I count user with no specific applications, we get 293,000 record.
Exactly.
When this didn't work out very well, she went to another data scientist and said that I'm in an urgent pinch and wondering if you still do consulting work and have time. He said, yeah, sure. They spoke over the phone and they started discussing it. She told him that she had a database of around 4 million people that she wanted eventually to add to Frank. So after it was done, the scientist sent her an invoice for $13,000, but the problem is the invoice had a row saying college major generation, which shows that Charlie actually faked up those college majors, which is a problem. So she responded and said, can you just make it one row and just take 18,000 instead of 13,000? So then the scientist agreed and sent her a new invoice for $18,000. Okay, but this whole thing has to have started with a pitch deck that she sent JP Morgan. I couldn't find the entire pitch deck, but I could assemble a few slides of it, so let's check it out. So the first slide is the Frank solution. And truth is, there is a problem and there is a solution. Frank was solving a solution. It wasn't a problem with the market opportunity or the company in general. It was just a problem with the fact they were faking numbers. But there is a problem with financial aid and scholarships that they're addressing here. The only problem is that they said they had 4.25 million Frank students. So this is the closest thing to a business model slide, I would say. It just showcases the sides of the business. So there is the financial institutions, colleges, governments, and Fortune 500 employers on one side, and there are the users on the other side. I would say this showcases that there is a very good opportunity in the business of Frank in general, because if you can make money from all of those people, then that's a really good, business concept or business direction. Now, this is not a slide per se, but it is part of the deck. You can notice by the brand guidelines and the colors and the font and everything that it is included somewhere in the deck, but we don't see it. It just shows the growth of Frank and shows that it has 1.4 million new students in 2020. Which, according to the complaint and everything, is not true. Now, this is necessarily the most important slide in their pitch deck, and at the same time, the most criminalizing, if that's a word, in their deck. So it says that 4.25 million students trust Frank, and it shows their traction or their growth ever since 2017. It's a very good slide because it shows that they're growing in terms of new users and cumulative users, and that their marketing spend is decreasing somehow, which shows that they're growing from word of mouth and from other sources. It's just a perfect, unbelievable slide, and it is true, unbelievable. According to the complaint, I think there are different versions of the deck. So there's one in July 2nd, I think, and there's another in July 7th. So this might be in a different version of it, but it's also similar to what we just discussed. So it just shows the new users and how much they're spending for them. Apparently, it just tries to tell you that, you know what, Frank is not really spending a lot of money right now in marketing, and it is gaining users more than ever before. That's all I have in terms of the deck, but I will attach some links in the description of the video that shows this part of the deck and that shows the complaint in full, so that you check out and read the whole story if you're interested. The problem is, this is not the first time it happened. It happened with Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, with FTX and Sam, and it will keep on happening as long as due diligence is not performed well. I actually think there is a market opportunity here for a new startup to come and fix this situation. Obviously, there is a problem of companies not doing good due diligence, so maybe there is a market opportunity where a startup could go in and just do this for them. But what do you think? Why are such big names just getting into fraud cases like that? And is it going to happen again in 2023? Remember, Theranos was 7 years ago, and it's still happening again with different companies. Let me know in the comments. Let's start a bit of a discussion. This is MBA or Monday Business Analysis. I hope you enjoyed it. I will finish this video and just go out, enjoy the sunny weather in Switzerland. I hope it's sunny where you are, and I invite you to do the same, to just have a wonderful day.